Dickie's Diary 24. Good day, fiends, flowers, and flans. Thou bloody autocorrect. Donald Trump is in the news again. This time he is suggesting that the medical sector should stop testing so many people for COVID-19. It makes the stats look bad. He has a good point. I always thought that it was the job of good government to massage statistics into telling us happy stories, pummel them into telling us what we want to hear, torture them into confessing crimes uncommitted, thrashing them into telling us how wonderful our government is. Trump is now suggesting that the COVID-19 numbers need even more massaging down to lower numbers so that, the public can have confidence in its government. It makes perfect sense when you think about it, with a stable genius brain, that is. Fewer tests means fewer cases. Fewer cases means fewer new infections. Fewer infections means fewer tests required. It's a virtuous circle. Never thought I'd use Trump's name in the same paragraph as the word virtuous. Trump is certainly not the first leader to demand a change in reporting of a public sensitive number. I well remember back in 1985 when the new mayor of East Seacliff, Conrad Blackheart, first got into office. That year, during the demolition of a suburban house, a substantial amount of asbestos was discovered in the roof. There were many similar houses built around the same time, so the chief medical officer demanded inspections of all the remaining houses. At first, there were quite a few houses discovered with asbestos in their roofs, but Mr. Blackheart put a stop to it by issuing an executive order stipulating that inspections of roofs was to be outlawed. The local newspaper, the East Seacliff Observer, had a front-page headline the following day. "Mayor's decision us worstos," they said. But despite some cynicism, there were no new reports of dangerous houses. Problem solved. A few years later, and a new issue arose. The aforementioned houses had rat infestations. The chief medical officer declared it a health emergency and demanded the problem be assessed. Of course, the inspectors were counting hundreds of rats, but then the mayor invoked his executive order stipulating that any rats smaller than 30 centimeters were to be classified as mice. The East Seacliff Observer ran a front-page article with the headline, "Mayor plays Pied Piper." Over the next few weeks, the numbers went down and the public could rest easy again. Problem smashed. Several years after that, the local hospital, the Royal East Seacliff, was inundated with asbestos and rat-related diseases and illnesses. The beds were all in use and there was no spare capacity. It was a public health emergency. The mayor stepped up once again, invoking a new executive order stipulating that anyone not at risk of immediate death should be turned out onto the street to fend for themselves. A few days later, the chief medical officer reported ample hospital bed availability and huge cost savings. The East Seacliff Observer ran a front-page article with the headline, "Mayor plays Russian roulette with patients." The local funeral home did a roaring trade as well that year. The economy was firing on all cylinders. Problem deceased. Ciao.